for that. Aaron is from the Du Bois Bunch Center as well, so I want to acknowledge that. He wears many hats, but one hat tonight he's wearing is he's trying to manage the Zoom and make sure that it's just kept orderly. So that's part of what he's doing. And I want to clear the record, I do not prosecute homeowners, I protect them. So that was a Freudian slip. But I would like to welcome everyone to tonight's program, and thank you for joining the Du Bois Bunch Center and NHS for this exciting conversation on property tax relief and home protection. When I do closings for clients or when I encounter clients, one of the main questions that they always ask in trying to protect their home or increase the value of their home is how do they reduce their property taxes? And what happens is I see many people fumble over that answer. So because many people fumble over the answer and can't give a straight answer because it's somewhat complicated, we're going to have it simplified tonight by having a representative from the New York City Department of Finance give you trusted information. And then we'll have a Q&A where we can also answer those questions. We're also proud to co-host this program with the Neighborhood Housing Services of Jamaica. We encourage you to take notes, ask questions, and think about how you can apply these resources to your home. After this program, we will provide, the Du Bois Bunch Center will provide information to you on two, I'm sorry, my camera went out, but on two clinics that we have at the Du Bois Bunch Center. We have an estate planning clinic, and we have a foreclosure, housing, and real estate clinic. And at both clinics, we give free, we meet one-on-one with any person from the community and to try to give you advice on those topics. So we'll give you information about that. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Laurie Miller, who's the Executive Director of the Neighborhood Housing Services of Jamaica. Which is a 52-year-old resident-led community-based nonprofit HUD certified counseling agency. She has served on the board from 1993 until 2014 when she became the executive director. Laurie has partnered with local government officials, community leaders, businesses, and lending institutions to create products and programs that meet the needs of low and middle income Queens residents. Under her direction, the Neighborhood Housing Services of Jamaica has been a leader in the effort to educate and assist residents on how to secure and maintain affordable housing from rentals to home ownership. The Neighborhood Housing Services of Jamaica's priority is promoting preservation and housing stabilization. And with that, I give you Laurie Miller.
Thank you, Yvette. Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to say Neighborhood Housing Services as a HUD certified housing agency, and we are also what's known as a housing ambassador for the City of New York, the Housing Preservation and Development Department. And we have a number of programs. We have a first-time homebuyers program for those who are interested in buying apartments or homes. We do monthly workshops for first-time home buyers, and if you are really serious about it, the next step would be to do one-on-one counseling. We also help homeowners get access to home improvement funds. In our community here in southeastern Queens, the homes are generally, well over 60 years old, and so they need quite often a lot of maintenance. And homeowners of modest means, find trying to finance those repairs, a real challenge. So that's an issue that has been addressed by a number of organizations throughout the city. We also have what we call now we put it under the blanket of what we call homeowner stabilization. And we help homeowners, do things like apply for property tax exemptions. If they are falling behind on their mortgages or have fallen behind on their mortgages, we have foreclosure intervention and prevention. And the goal really is to help homeowners make housing as affordable as possible. So that's why this workshop tonight is important, because it is a way for you to, decrease the expense of owning a home. And we are happy to have with us a representative from the Department of Finance. We have Melissa Blakely, who's an outreach liaison, and she's going to take us through the various property tax exemptions that the City of New York offers, and she'll be able to give you answers, about the program. So as Yvette said, when all is said and done, we will have a Q&A, and we'll also at times provide information in the chat. So we also ask that if you do have questions, if they're time permitting, you can ask the questions at the end, but it's really a good idea to type your questions into the chat so we know in advance what the questions are. Thank you. And so without further ado, I'd like to introduce Melissa Blakely from the Department of Finance.
Hello. Good afternoon, all. Thank you for having me. Welcome, Ms. Yvette. Thank you all for the knowledge of the office. Thank you all for welcoming me. I also have my colleague, Marco Guzman, who's also from the Department of Finance, who will be handling the chat. As I go through the presentation, which should be about 10 to 20 minutes, any questions that you guys have, instead of interrupting, great questions, you can put them right in the chat. They would be answered live in the chat, and then I can go after I do the presentation, I will do a Q&A. Okay? Thank you all for coming from the community, NHS Jamaica Queens. Thank you all. I know property tax is a very big issue, so I will definitely. Can everyone hear me?
Now we can.
Now we can.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was talking the whole time. Thank you so much, Yvette, for introducing me. Thank you for the Office of NHS Jamaica for having us tonight, the Department of Finance. I do have my colleague alongside with me. His name is Marco Guzman. He will be handling the chat. I will do a small presentation, and during the presentation, if any of your homeowners have questions, please put them in the chat as they will be answered live. Okay? After that, I will do a Q&A, and then we can go over any answers and questions that you guys have put in the chat and any new questions that come as I go along. Okay? Thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for just inviting us, NHS, to do this presentation with you guys. We are happy, and we're happy to spread the information with the homeowners, okay? So I'll get started. I'll share my screen. Just bear with me one moment. So this is the presentation I will be presenting, and I'm going to go ahead and start. Okay, so we are, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. The Department of Finance, this is the Notice of Property Value Information Session for 2026. So what is the Notice of Property Value? This is the Notice of Property Value. This is a forged paper document, and it has basic information on it. Your borough block lot, which wouldn't tell us your address where you live. It'll have your market value on there, your assessed market value, any property tax exemptions that you receive as well on this Notice of Property Value, okay? On the first page, so that you have all the information and the property taxes that you pay for that year on the first page. The second page will get in more to detail about the market value of your property, how we assess your value of your property, and your effective market value, as well as your taxable value. The third page will entail details specifically to your property. So your Notice of Property Value will be specific to your property. No one else's is alike. I know a lot of people say, hey, the next door neighbor has the same this and that, but each Notice of Property Value is specific to that property. The last page does have events that we will be at the Department of Finance where you can come in and get more one-on-one assistance from us. I know the Notice of Property Values are a little hard to reach, but know that we're here to help you. Okay? How we calculate your property tax. So step one is we determine your market value. We value your home using statistical analysts that incorporates data such as the recent selling prices of similar properties in your neighborhood. So not across the street, next door, in your neighborhood is how we kind of put the market value on your home. Excuse me. Step two, we determine your assessed value. So that would be your market value times your assessed ratio, in which we cap that at 6%. No more than 6% of year by law is in New York City able to tax your property, okay? The exemptions would be any kind of exemption on your property, and that would decrease your property tax value in full. Okay, so if, for example, if you have star is a property tax exemption that you can get that the state gives you $300, that kind of lowers your property value. So that's just for an example. And your annual property taxable value times your tax rate and your abatements equals your property tax bill. So that's how much you would pay in full. Okay. about your property tax assessment caps. So this is very important because I know sometimes people say, hey, my property tax bill gets high and this high and this high, and I feel like it's raised 10, 20, 15%, and that's not the case. For tax class 1 properties, the assessed value cannot increase more than 6% per year or 20% over a 5-year span. So if you have noticed that your property has increased more than 6% per year, that's a problem. You can go ahead and challenge us. Certain tax class property 2 properties have a cap at 8% per year or 30% over 5 years. So we're always, by law, we cannot raise your property taxes over a certain percent. Okay? Ways to get help. Oh, I'm sorry. What to do. Ways to get help is you can definitely reach out to NHS. We work very close alongside them. They have a direct contact with the Department of Finance. You can also go down to our borough halls. In every location, in every borough, we have a borough hall where you can also get one-on-one assistance, and the business centers. For the season up until March 15th, you can go into the business centers and get one-on-one assistance if you wanted to apply for exemptions, get a breakdown of what your notice of property value is. Okay, we're always open. What to do if you think we got it wrong? Because we're not a perfect agency, there are ways that we can get your property tax or notice of property value wrong. It can either be your market value, your assessed value, or it's a descriptive error. Maybe it is not a 2-family home, and maybe it's a 3. Those things can change, okay? If you disagree, you have a right to challenge the Department of Finance assessments and correct erroneous information associated with your property, okay? So what to do if you disagree? If you disagree with your market value, you fill out a request to review form. We'll request the Department of Finance to review your market value. We'll go ahead and do the research in your neighborhood and see if we got your market value wrong, okay? You have up until March 16th for property tax class 1. For tax class 2, you have till March 2nd. And for 3 and 4, we have until April the 1st. Now, it's always, if you disagree with the descriptive property information and data, you can fill out a request to update form. That form is to say, hey, please update this information. You got it wrong, and maybe you're being billed incorrectly. There's no deadline for that. You can always request and submit those forms. Property assessment or property tax calculation, a lot of times they say, hey, my property tax assessment is wrong. The tax calculation is wrong. You can always submit an administrative review. If it's a clerical error on our end, we will always fix it, and there's no deadline for that one as well. Okay? Your property tax will not go down unless you can prove your market value should be lower than the effective market value. So please, guys, do your research, because as we do our research, we're going to research how much is the market value and the effective market value in your neighborhood, okay? You can always get help from the tax commission. Every property owner has the right to receive an independent review of the tentative assessed value of their property. So the tax commission is a separate city agency that can provide review upon request. So if you feel like you're not getting anywhere with the Department of Finance, you can always reach out to the tax commission. They're a separate agency, and they will give you help, provide you with help with your property tax. Okay, these are ways to save. Exemptions. The exemption reduces your assessed value before your taxes are calculated. So, for example, if you have a senior citizen homeowners exemption and your property taxes come to about $8,000, if you're a senior citizen, anyone over the age of 65 and who makes under $58,399, you can get up to a 50% discount on your property taxes, and that will usually bring your property tax from $8,000 to $4,000. Okay, that's just one example of one of the property tax exemptions that the Department of Finance, offers. The abatements reduces your taxes after they are already been calculated. So this one does it before your taxes. The abatement reduces your taxes after they've been calculated. Like I said, guys, any questions or concerns that you have, if I may be moving a little too slow or a little too fast, please keep the questions in the chat because I will go back to them. In here, these are the property tax exemptions that I do want to go through with everyone. So the first one that I have discussed is called the Senior Citizens Homeowners Exemption. This is available to owners of houses, co-ops, and condos who are 65 and older, with an annual income of $58,399 or less, okay, this property tax exemption will reduce your property tax up to 50%. So I highly recommend any seniors who are on the line to go ahead and apply for that one, because that is a great exemption to have on your property. Up to 50%, you cannot beat that. Okay, the deadline for that one is March 15th. If you're a new senior citizen, you want to have your application, your income, whether that be your 2024 tax return or your Social Security, your pension, however you're being paid, along with your, is that the application, the income and your ID, okay? For the disability homeowners exemption, we call that one DHE. That's available to disabled owners of houses, co-ops, and condos as well. Same price range, $58,399 or less. The same reduction, 50%. The value up to 50%. So if you're anyone 18 years or older and you're receiving disability from the state already, all you have to do is submit your disability approval letter. Okay, as long as you're a homeowner and you're receiving disability from a co-op, and you're a homeowner of a co-op, condo, or home, you can apply to have your DHE and you'll get up to 50% off your property tax. So that's a very good one. I highly recommend anyone who's getting disability to apply. Okay, the next one is the veterans exemption, available to certain veteran owners of houses and co-ops and condos or their unremarried surviving spouses and Gold Star parents. Okay, the level of benefit varies with that one. So there's no way for me to tell you how much you get off. It would not be until you actually get the benefit on your property that we can see how much they're reducing your property taxes. Okay, you can complete that. You can submit that with your ID, your DD-214 form, as long as you're honorable removal from the Army form, and you will be able to apply for that one as well. The next one we have is the disabled crime victim and Good Samaritan exemption. So victims of crimes and those injured trying to prevent crimes or assist the victim, civilians only, owners must have modified home to accommodate the disability. And there's compensation for costs of renovation to accommodate those disability. So if you are a victim of a crime or in helping someone, you get hurt in that crime and now you have to modify your home to accommodate your disability, compensation for the cost, we will accommodate that disability, okay? We can go ahead and just apply for that. Same way, the same deadline is March 15th. And the last one is the clergy exemption. That's available to members of the clergy or their unremarried surviving spouses that own houses or condos in New York State. That reduces the value of the home up to $15,000, okay? Tax savings and approximately $256 for the year. Okay, so you can complete that application as well. As long as you have a certificate of clergy, you can submit that with all the required documentation. And all that needs to be submitted before March 16, 2026. Okay, along with STAR and Enhanced STAR credits. We used to do that. The Department of Finance used to be able to help our constituents with the Enhanced STAR credit. We are no longer assisting with the Enhanced STAR credit. You can call the telephone number. I'm going to call it out, 518-457-2036. And any seniors for the Enhanced STAR, any seniors who are 65 and older and make below $110,000, you would be able to be receiving $650 from New York State every year for your property taxes, okay? That is a one that I do highly recommend as well. And these exemptions can work in conjunction with one another. So if you had Shaheed, if you're a veteran, you can also apply for veterans. So you don't have to just one. If you have the heat and you're, if you're a disabled homeowner and you're still a veteran, you can have both. If you needed Enhanced STAR and you have Shaheed, because you should have both. If you're 65 and make under 58, you can get the 50% reduction. Also, the Enhanced STAR, they would give you $650 for the year annually. So it's not just one exemption at a time. Some of them be combined to help you save the most, to get the best saving for your property taxes. Okay, so key things that I would like for you to remember. You must renew these exemptions. The senior citizens, the homeowners, the clergy exemption as directed. So the senior citizens is every 2 years. Okay, every 2 years, you should provide your property, your tax returns. And as long as they fall under the $58,399, you should be eligible to get it for the additional 2 years. The same thing with disability homeowners exemptions. You have to renew that every year. So every year you have to make sure that you apply, because once you get that 50% reduction, you're so happy. But once you lose it, your property tax jump exponentially higher because now you've lost your 50% discount. Okay. I also want to say to parents and children, they're not eligible for the shahi. So if the parent and the child is on the deed, unfortunately, that disqualifies the parent from receiving the 50% discount. Okay. Review instructions regarding eligibility and income requirements. Please review the eligibility. Make sure that you're 65 and older. Make sure that you're having the required documents. If it's the HEED, your disability approval form. Okay. And applications, if you mail them in, make sure they have been postmarked before the March 16th deadline, because it is a hard start at March 16th. We will not be accepting any applications or inputting them after that date. So if you do pull it in the mail and you feel like it may not make it there, please postmark it for March 16th. Okay. And these are just updates for the upcoming filing period. For the shahi and the HE renewals. If you're renewing, you don't need to submit income documents. You can just submit the application. That's it. We have made it a little bit more less time consuming and especially more convenient. So we know that you submitted if you apply the first time, you submit your income ID the second time, all you need to do is fill out the application, send it in. That's it. If the property is in a trust or life estate, applicants no longer need to submit the life or trust or life estate. We have a new form. It's the trust or life estate certification. And that's just a document, 2-page document. You can fill that out. And moving forward, you no longer need to submit your trust. I'm sorry.
Got a little hodgepodge.
I'm sorry. And you no longer need to submit the 40 to 50 page trust form any longer. Okay. And the C-Star and Star, like I said, is no longer handled by us. Moving forward is now handled by the State Department. Okay. And that's about it. That ends my presentation. Okay, I'll put it here. I'll put my screen here just in case you guys wanted to see anything else. But that will stop my presentation. I hope you guys put some great questions in the chat.
About getting tax exempt on the property taxes. Tax exempt on the property houses.
I do get a new plan.
I'm sorry. Is that someone asking us a question? If not, guys, I know it's a lot of us on here tonight. Please mute so that if anyone does have questions or concerns, please put them in the chat. And then if anyone else does have questions that they would like to say on the mic, go ahead. You can say that. You can unmute yourself, raise your hand. But I just want to get a chance so that everybody can be heard for tonight. And if there are any questions that you have, you can go ahead and ask them. Myself, I have another Department of Finance employee here. So if anything that we've missed or anything that you want to go over, we're here to help. Okay.
I have a question. So if seniors transfer their property to a trust and the senior still resides in that house as their primary residence, can they claim an exemption?
Great question, Yvette. So yes, if the seniors have their property in a trust, they can still apply and get the exemption. All they have to do is fill out our trust and life estate form. Okay, that's it. Once the trust and life estate form is filled out, now we have a clue onto what is going on with the property. And as long as the senior is still, the owner has ownership of the property, yes, the senior could be and much likely get the eligibility for the exemption. And thank you so much. Great question.
I'll drop the form in the chat as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marco. Carla, great question. So both spouses must be 65 in order to qualify? No. One spouse has to be 65. Both spouses don't have to be 65. So if you and your husband, if you're 63 and he's 65, you guys qualify.
Question. My hands are raised. My name is Faye Hill. I got my notice for the property value here from the Department of Finance. No, my property exemption is only enhanced star. Do I have to apply for the school SHI or whatever?
I'm sorry. So thank you for that, Miss Faye. You said you have the enhanced star. Okay, and yes, you should apply as long as your income is below the 58,399. You should apply for the senior citizen homeowners exemption. That's what we call Shahi. You should apply if you're qualified for that. Yes, because that will reduce your property taxes a very good amount.
I applied. I have to apply for that every year. You said
every 2 years.
But I think I sent that application in a couple of months ago, the shy, and I didn't get back a response. Do I go online and check it out and see if I qualify?
If Miss Faye, if you know how to use the chat, maybe you can put your BBL in the chat and we can take a look at it for you.
Hey, thanks.
You're very welcome. Thank you and that was a great question, Miss Faye. Thank you for asking. Let me go into the chat. I know Miss Kate Cole, please review senior exemption or repost on screen. Not a problem. Let me go ahead and I'll just share my screen for a little bit more. Give me 1 second. If you guys can see that, okay. The senior citizen homeowners exemption, I'll go through it again. It's available to homeowners and co-op and condo owners who are 65 years old and older, okay? As long as your annual income is $58,399 or less, you can reduce your property taxes up to 50%. I always highly recommend seniors sign up for this one because it blows your property taxes down an extremely good amount. Okay? I highly recommend this one. Okay? All you have to do is submit your application, submit your income, whether that's your 2024 property tax returns and or your however you're getting, whether it's pension, Social Security, submit those documents with your ID. You can go ahead and apply.
Do you want to show them on the website how to get to the online application?
Yeah, give me 1 moment. Oh, that's my shortcut. Okay. I forgot. I gotta go the long way. Give me 1 moment, guys. Okay, you should be able to apply for exemptions. This is our Department of Finance website here. This is this is something that we all have access to. Just like you would go to property, apply for tax exemptions and abatements. You see the senior citizens homeowners exemption is here. And you can apply right online. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the application. You see? You would put your information in and you can begin filing and they would ask you your information and you would start putting it in. I wouldn't be able to do it from here because you would see my information, but it is just as quick as that, okay? You can just begin filing right on the website. So as long as you know how to upload your documents to your computer, you can upload them, you can begin filing, and it'll ask you your borough, block, and lot enter your address, but your borough, block, and lot, and then you can start from there. At the end, they'll ask you to upload documents, and then you upload your documents at the end. Marco, is that fine? You can look up and find your property address here. If you don't know your borough, block, lot, you can put in your borough, your number, your street number, and that'll give you your borough, block, and lot. Once you find that, you will go back to apply for the property tax exemptions. Go down to any one you want. It's not just Shahi, it's any property tax, veterans, disability, DHE, any kind of abatement or exemption that you want to qualify for. You can do it right here, right through the internet. Okay? How to apply, whether it's initial on your co-op or condo, if you're a family, 1 or 2 family home, you can begin right here on the website. Okay, guys? So it's very, very a little, much, much easier than how it was previously done in the past. We have definitely kind of eased it out. The online, it takes about not even 10, 15 minutes. It's a very quick process. Whoever's on the deed, you add them to they add the information on the internet. They'll ask you your BBL. They'll ask you for your income. You submit that. You submit your ID if this is your first time doing it. And that's it. You're ready to go.
So someone in the chat asked, is there any exemptions for seniors and their children if the senior and their children are on the deed?
Thank you. A great question. As of right now, no. No.
Yeah, just to the only exemption to the age rule is if the applicant is over the age of 65 and their spouse or sibling is under the age of 65. If that if a child is under 65, they won't be eligible for the senior citizen homeowner exemption. The only one, and it wouldn't be an exemption, it would be an abatement. Star, usually if the total combined income is less than that 250,000, they can get that abatement, but for exemptions, it would remove you from contention.
Thank you, Marco. And I did have another question from Yvette. Are the income guidelines based on combined incomes if married? Great question. Yes. The incomes are based on combined incomes. If there are two people on the deed, two incomes. If there are one person on the deed, one income. Thank you for that, Yvette. Can you please repeat the response for Yvette's last question? I think that was the last question that she had. So yes, based on the whoever's on the deed, two people, two incomes, one person, one income.
I think because several people have my link, so
Okay.
it may sorry, yeah, it looks like I'm cloned.
It's okay.
But I think they may have meant the trust question. That's what caller.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, if you have the trust, yes, you're still eligible to receive the exemptions. All you have to do is fill out the trust form. We have a new trust form that my colleague dropped in the chat. You would add that trust form to your application so that we can see what's on the trust. What's in the trust, I'm sorry. Thank you for that clarity, Yvette. Can you use a disabled application if the owner does not have SSD? No. You have to be receiving SSD to actually get.
If you go on the says required documents, there are limited, but you can go over that. It's on the required document on the paper application. I believe it's like some pension. Give me a second. I'll look it up. Or Melissa, if you want to go to that page, the DHE page, and just the paper application, we can see the required documents on the last page of the.
Give me one moment.
On the last page of the DHE application. But they are very limited. For the most part, it is SSD.
So proof of disability for SSD, disability award letter from the Social Security Administration. So that's why I said your approval letter from the disability, Railroad Retirement Board or U.S. Postal Service disability letter, a certificate from the New York State Commission for the Blind, in order for the chair of the Workers' Compensation Board determining an award for compensation for permanent total disability or permanent partial disability, or a Veterans Administration letter stating that you are entitled to a veteran's disability pension. Okay, those are the proof. That is the proof of disability that is required. Thank you for that question. I hope that cleared up any of the questions that you have.
We have another question in the chat from Lorraine Smith Singleton. Melissa, you.
Yes, I see. If married with 2 properties, but each one is in one name, only can I qualify. So yes, but you can only have exemption on one property. So pick a property and choose that exemption to which you want to be on, because it can't be applied to both.
And it should be your primary residency.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Smith. Great question. Because we will ask in the application if there is an additional property. So that is a great question. Thank you so much for that. Mrs. Baker, do you do presentations for churches? Absolutely. Absolutely. We work very close with a couple of churches in Queens. We do these presentations virtually as well as in person. Thank you for that. Are there any other questions or any other thing that you guys would like me to review? You have some great questions. Thank you so much. Is there a fee? What, Mrs. Faye, what is that fee meaning? A fee for the application? No. Is there a fee for? How do I get in touch with you? You can drop your, how do I get in touch with you to do a presentation on community group? Please drop your, Marco, if you can drop your email in the chat. And you can email one of us from the Department of Finance. And if we have, because the deadline is soon. So we will be squeezing you all in at the very last moment. We're doing these presentations day and night in all 5 boroughs. So if we can squeeze you in, not a problem. No, there is no fee to do a presentation, Mrs. Hill. We are a city agency. This is our job. So no, we do not require a fee to do the presentation. We do these just for the information of the people. Thank you so much. Yes, but this is our job. Our job is to inform the communities of the property tax exemption that they're eligible for. It's not like we're doing something where, outside of our job description. This is what you're eligible for. We're just educating the communities. So there is no fee, no.
I have another question on behalf of my clients. So when a person closes and they buy a home and now they close, they own the home, do they have to apply for an exemption, or is that done?
Well, they usually have to be in the home at least for 12 consecutive months before they start applying for the exemption.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's to everyone. Yes, great question, Ms. Dudley, because that's a good question. Usually people can close it and then start filling out. No, the city at least wants you to be in the home for at least 12 consecutive months first. You have to know that that's your primary residence and you're not using it for anything else. You're welcome, Mrs. Nelson. Yes, you're definitely eligible. As long as you're eligible income, there was a trustee on the deed, we have dropped the deed form in the chat. Add that to the application, and good luck.
I have another question.
No, bring them on.
Okay, so if a person is transferred, one of their loved ones who was receiving the senior citizen benefit and any other benefit, if they were transferred to a nursing home, is there a limit on how long they could be in that nursing home before they lose the exemption?
No, as long as they're consistently consistently renewing their shaheed, no.
So if they are in a nursing home and they were unable to submit their renewal application, we do have an EEO extension form that they might be eligible for. That basically they would have to provide proof that they were unable to respond to any of our correspondence. Yeah, but you would have to show proof that you were away during that time and you weren't able to renew during that time. But for the most part, if you don't renew, you will lose your exception.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you for that clarity. Property. I don't have my property value letter with me, but can you please show me where I can find the info if I'm receiving any exemption? Yes, you can go on our website. I think I still have it pulled up here, New York City Department of Finance, and that I'm answering the question to Mrs. Carla Arnold. You can go on our Department of Finance website here. All you have to do is touch property, find your property information. Wait. Well, you can do it through that way, but I'm just going to show you an easier way. You can, yes, go on our website.
Can you share your screen? Is it possible to?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, you guys can see it there. Visit our website, New York City Department of Finance, property information. You can put in your borough, block, and lot. Let me just see if I can just pull up a random borough, block, and lot. Oh, no. Queens. You would just put in your property information. If you have your address here, search. Yours will come up and your notice of property value will come up there. You can go as far as 7 years to see it. And this is our website. If you don't have your BBL, you can just put in your address on here. Okay? So you guys have the same access to the Department of Finance. Just as fast as I can look up your information, you would have the same access. We don't have anything more special because we're employees. It's all public information. Okay? Thank you for that, Ms. Carla. That was a great question. You can go right on the website, pull it up. You can pull up your notice of property value. You can pull up what your bill is. You can pull it up. Okay? You're welcome. Sean just joined. Did you go over the STAR? We did go over the STAR. The eligibility is as your property owner, as long as you make below the $250,000 or less, you're eligible to be receiving $300 for the year for the school tax exemption. But the New York State now handles that exemption. New York City Department of Finance used to oversee the E-Star and STAR, but we no longer do that. You would have to go to the New York State New York State website, and you can apply there. If my colleague can drop that website in the chat, he'll do that for you so that you guys can apply for, if anybody here wanted to apply for STAR and the Enhanced STAR program. Thank you for that question, Sean. Christy, are there multiple exemptions available, basic and enhanced? Yeah, I did go up the basic for the STAR and enhanced for the STAR. Those are the two basic and enhanced programs and exemptions that we offer, but those are offered now through the state. New York City Department of Finance no longer oversees those exemptions. The state has taken over. But there are multiple exemptions that we did go through, and you can pull it up on our website where you would be able to see all of our property exemptions that the New York City Department of Finances go ahead and applies to people's property tax bills. Okay, there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them here. Senior citizens homeowner exemption, disability, veterans, disabled crime victim, and clergy exemption. Okay. Thank you for that, Christine. How can you be contacted to schedule a presentation? You can, Ms. Baker, you can drop your email in the chat if that's okay with you, and we can reach out to you. Okay. Thank you. Can the form be picked up at any location? Yes, ma'am. Any applications, if you're going to the Department of Finance, business centers, yes, those forms can be picked up to at any of our location, any of our borough halls or the business center locations. Yes. This document contains the link and some general information about STAR. Thank you so much, Mrs. Miller. Okay. Yes, so unfortunately, I know that is one of the changes that we experienced this year, where we no longer administrate or oversee the exemption STAR and enhanced STAR. The state now oversees that, so I know we'll get a lot of questions, and I'll try to give a lot of feedback to the communities when we have answers about those. But so far, all we're able to do is just direct you to the State Department's website, and they let us know to just direct the constituents there, and they'll handle it from there. So if you guys are experiencing problems, though, please give your local offices feedback so that we can give the state feedback to see if it's working great or not for the first year. Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen. And let's thank you, Marco, so much. And he dropped our finance contact information, how you can reach us regarding if we would like to do another presentation, which we're doing them all day, all night until March the 16th, making sure that we're getting communities registered, making sure that we're educating communities about the exemptions, about the eligibility, the requirements, and where they can sign up. Our online platforms are becoming more user-friendly, but if not, we do have enrollment events that you can attend, whether they're in Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan. We're hosting events in all 5 boroughs. You can actually see those events on the back of your notice of property value or on our website. But we're having events on all the 5 boroughs just to continue educating the community about the exemptions that they're qualified for. Because a lot of it is just not about the information is out there, but sometimes we don't have it. We don't, users don't know where to find it or which exemptions or if they're eligible. So even with the information tonight here, please tell your community members, your church members, your family members about these exemptions. If you see that they're qualified, maybe you're not, but please spread the wealth of information, because that's how it does get around to where we can help seniors save their homes. 50% discount is a major discount to have applied to your property. I highly recommend that we tell, our families, our friends, our colleagues about these exemptions. Okay, and I know that we have, put at least Mrs. Dudley had put more information in the chat so we can discuss these issues, as well as the their socials on where to reach them. Okay, so we do want to put the information out there that if you feel like you are qualified for one of these exemptions or for more than one, please let's go ahead and get your information so that we can go ahead and get you to apply. And if you want to walk inside the NHS and apply there, I'm more than happy to you to do it there, because they have a direct contact with us, with the Department of Finance. So please, thank you so much for attending the event. And like I said, we're just here to educate the community consistently. And thank you so much, Mrs. Nelson. Thank you. And thank you guys for attending. Thank you guys for attending, because we're doing this for you guys. So thank you guys for attending here tonight, logging in, and just getting a wealth of information.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Melissa Blakely from the Department of Finance, and Marco Guzman. Ms. Blakely, you deserve a standing ovation. You may not be able to see us, but we are standing and applauding for all this definitely informative discussion that you have tonight. Sometimes city agencies just look like someone who's just trying to milk us for money, but you're literally giving us the information so we could fight for ourselves and receive the benefits that you're offering.
Yes.
The cloud that exists sometimes.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that. Now, I know many people have asked, and you could tell how serious and your information is just by people requesting your presence at their own gatherings. So did you put the information in the chat as to how they could contact you? And maybe you did.
Yes, I know Marco put a contact, but let me go ahead and drop my email in the chat. Use it
Sparingly.
Use it sparingly because I am a little busy. But yes, definitely, if you want to make an appointment with me, please put that in the subject line. Have your name, address, telephone number, and 3 dates, 3 possible dates between now and March 16th, and let me know if you would like a morning or an afternoon. So that way I don't have to go back and forth with you. What do you need if that date is booked up? Because most of our dates are booking up, but please let me know 3 things: your location, the area which, you know, have a location, a time frame in the morning or night, and just put 3 dates. So if 1 or 2 dates don't work, I have another date that works for you. Okay. I went ahead and dropped my email in the chat for everyone. And it can be in person, one-on-one, or it can be another virtual like this. We would, you know, send a Zoom out, the same steps, having someone handle the chat. But yeah, thank you guys so much. You know, we do work for you. We're here for the community. So we're definitely I'll definitely do my best to try to accommodate everyone. But you know, I appreciate the great feedback. But yes, I'm definitely here for you guys. We're definitely here to help out. We know how much property taxes, we hear it all over the news with the new mayor. Hopefully we're, you know, crossing our fingers and the governor doesn't do it. But if there's going to be a tax hike, I'm going to educate you guys and let you know in ways that we can keep your property taxes down, keep you guys in your homes.
Again, Ms. Blakely, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Many
Thank
people, many of us, all of us appreciated your presentation. Thank you, Mr. Guzman. Thank you, Neighborhood Housing Services of Jamaica, again, for co-sponsoring this program. Again, thank you from everyone, to everyone at Medgar Evers Du Bois Bunch Center for Public Policy. Aaron, do you have any closing words or anything? No, okay.
No, but it was a great presentation.
Busy keeping the order. So thank you so much. Mr. Guzman, anything from DOF?
No, thank you again for joining, and I hope you guys learned a lot from Melissa tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Ms. Miller, anything from NHS?
I want to say thank you to the Department of Finance. You know, and as Melissa said, we've always had a really strong relationship. You know, we reached out and they responded immediately. And just want to tell folks, you know, something that Yvette alluded to, that you know, the city is not always, it's not your enemy. We have found that the Department of Finance and other agencies have been very responsive, and when there are issues that affect the residents and particularly homeowners, they are there. You know, I think of times when last year was the first time we had a tax lien sale since the pandemic, and the Department of Finance went above and beyond, making themselves available to people to help them enter into payment agreements and all. We want our homeowners to remain homeowners, and we want housing to be as affordable as possible. And they are definitely partners in that. So thank you.
Yes, the Department of Finance, thank you for empowering the community with this information. I know over the internet, social media, I've seen over 100 different info sessions like these that you have sponsored throughout the city, and hundreds may be an understatement. So again, thank you for empowering the community, and thank you for sharing this information. Everyone, thank you for joining us for this conversation tonight and taking the time out. And if there's not anything else, we'll close out our program.
And thank you guys once again. Have a great night, guys.
Yes, everyone have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful night.
Yeah.